Hi, I'm Elizabeth,
And I'm Logan.
and today we will be discussing the emerging practice of
Astronaut training.
Children who lack proper function of the vestibular, auditory, visual triad will find it hard to make sense of themselves in relation to their surroundings. They may have significant problems with coordination and balance, and may seek out vestibular stimulation, or, alternatively, be fearful of such stimulation. In addition to this, they may have difficulties with reading, spelling, handwriting, and mathematics. By using sound, movement, and eye exercises, astronaut training seeks to train the child to be more tolerant of motion in order for the vestibular system to function properly. Daily eye exercises are also performed to improve the visual system's ability to improve eye control.
Astronaut training is a sound-activated vestibular visual protocol. Astronauts must complete training before they are ready to head into outer space. In the same way, kids with poor vestibular auditory visual triad functioning benefit greatly from the therapy which alleviates deficits in sensory processing. It is most commonly used in a clinical pediatric setting.
The vestibular system, located in the inner ear, is what allows us to make sense of how we move around in our environment. Children with developmental delay, fine motor delay, learning disabilities, ADHD, emotional problems, and autism may present with difficulties relating to this vestibular system dysfunction.
Training will focus on stimulating vestibular, visual, and auditory systems to facilitate postural and oculomotor control, as well as providing sensory opportunities, guiding self-organization, supporting optimal arousal, providing support for spatial temporal orientation and organization, allowing opportunities to practice postural control, increasing or decreasing muscle tone, and most importantly, eliciting playfulness, all ultimately maximizing the child's success and ensuring physical safety.
Before beginning training, the child will need to complete a few preparatory activities in order to assess current functioning and also increase tolerance for more intense movements. These activities may include moon boot dusting, which is touching the hand to the opposite foot while standing, twirling robot, which is arms outstretched while moving around in a circle, or catch a falling star, reaching up with both arms, then reaching down to touch the floor.
In Phase 1, treatment begins with the rotary activation phase. The child is seated on a rotary board with eyes closed in order to achieve precise vestibular activation. The therapist then spins the child in a counterclockwise direction for 10 rotations. This rotary movement is immediately followed by volitional eye movements. The therapist moves an object from left to right in a scanning motion. The head should not move and the eyes should not lose contact with the object during this phase. Treatment continues with right side lying. The child is once again placed on the rotary board, but this time in a right side lying position. Following 10 rotations, the therapist initiates the scanning movements once again with the child still in the side lying position.
In Phase 2, the child maintains eye contact with an object while moving the head in wide excursions up and down, side to side, counterclockwise, and in clockwise circles. The head movements are repeated several times. In Phase 3, linear activation incorporates upside-down play. This can be achieved by having the child lie across a therapy ball and participate in a game located on the ground in front of them, or having the child lie prone in a swing while throwing a ball to and from the therapist while in motion. This provides heavy, sustained proprioceptive input.
This is an example of rotary activation of phase 1. The therapist has the child seated on a vestibular board or a rotary board, and she'll spin him up to 10 times.
This is an example of side-lying rotary activation of phase 1. The child is lying on his side on the rotary board. After the therapist spins him around on his side, she will then participate the child in volitional eye movements.
Okay.
The therapist holds the object and the child will follow it with his eyes. He needs to keep his eyes on the object at all times. She will do a number of different motions with the object in this phase.
In this picture, the therapist has the child maintain eye contact with a pen. The child follows the pen. The child moves their head in wide excursions. The child moves their head up and down, side to side, and in a circular motion.
This is phase 3, the linear activation. The therapist has the child face down on a therapy ball and engaged in upside down play. This provides the heavy, sustained proprioceptive input of phase 3.
The vestibular system is responsible for modulating all of the various types of sensory input, including vision and hearing, so as to enhance learning and memory. Children who demonstrate a lack of vestibular processing may display action similar to astronauts while in space. In addition to this, they may have difficulties with reading, spelling, handwriting, and mathematics. By using sound, movement, and eye exercises, astronaut training seeks to train the child to be more tolerant of motion in order for the vestibular system to function properly. Dr. A. Jean Ayres developed the sensory integration theory, which is based on neurological research. Her theory suggested that children with learning disabilities would have better behavioral and occupational outcomes if their brains were able to better organize sensory information from their environments. She claimed that this can be accomplished by forming a foundation for the brain to have the ability to change and adapt to environmental demands versus teaching the children specific skills.
A survey was sent to 250 primary members of the American Occupational Therapy Association Sensory Integration Special Interest Section. The survey and subsequent research determined what types of sensory-based interventions other than ARIS sensory integration pediatric occupational therapists are using, how frequently they are being used, and the clinical rationale for choosing these interventions for children with a sensory processing dysfunction.
Astronaut training appears to meet 6 of the 10 criteria of the fidelity measure, which includes providing sensory opportunities, guiding self-organization, supporting optimal arousal, maximizing a child's success, ensuring physical safety, and also fostering a therapeutic alliance.
The integration of the vestibular system with the auditory and visual systems is crucial to further the development of a child's occupational necessities, including locomoting, playing, eating, and all other basic functions. It is these basic fundamental activities which astronaut training seeks to enhance. In doing so, the child can experience life and his surroundings in a meaningful way.
More specifically, astronaut training helps to improve attention, handwriting, reading, motion sickness, and the advancement of organizational skills.